It's almost game over for Australia's P&O Cruises, with their flagship Pacific Explorer having left the Australian city of Melbourne for the final time on her way to Fremantle near Perth. There she will set sail on a final cruise up to Exmouth and back, before making her final voyage as a P&O ship to Singapore, where she'll be handed over to Resorts World Cruises for use as a cruise ship in the Asia-Pacific region. This will leave P&O Cruises Australia with just 2 ships for the final month of their operations, Pacific Encounter and Pacific Adventure. But in March, both of these ships will transfer across to Carnival Cruise Line as Carnival Encounter and Carnival Adventure. Before they do this, they will receive a wet dock refit, where technology upgrades and some internal changes will take place. P&O Cruises Australia will formally cease to exist on the 29th of March 2025. So what will be the final voyages of P&O Cruises Australia? Pacific Adventure is the Sydney-based cruise ship and will operate P&O's final Sydney voyages, with 2 return trips to Tangalooma and Moreton Island. These 4-night cruises will sail from the 6th to the 10th of March and the 10th to the 14th of March as Sydney return voyages. The penultimate P&O Sydney departure on 10th of March will be the final Circular Quay P&O departure, which is a hugely significant moment given that P&O ships have sailed to piers of Circular Quay since the golden age of steamship services to Australia. Pacific Adventure's final arrival will berth at White Bay, making 14th of March the final P&O Harbour Bridge arrival, while the same day will see P&O Cruises Australia depart from Sydney for the last time as the ship sails out of the harbour for refit. The final P&O Australia passenger voyage falls on the Brisbane-based Pacific Encounter. This is kind of poetic, as Brisbane was the first port of call when Strathaired inaugurated P&O Cruises out of Australia in 1932. On that voyage, the ship sailed from Sydney to Brisbane and then on to the Pacific Islands. This video is brought to you by me and my new book, The Evolution of the Passenger Ship. In The Evolution of the Passenger Ship, we've brought years of research together to create a book that takes you on a journey from the earliest sailing ships right the way through to the modern behemoths that we see today. The Evolution of the Passenger Ship is available at all good bookshops, and if you buy a copy, you help us by supporting the channel. Thanks so much, and now back to the video. Pacific Encounter will undertake a week-long Pacific Island cruise departing on the 8th of March. This will see the ship return to Brisbane for 15 March, one day after Pacific Adventure leaves Sydney. As such, the final ever P&O Cruises Australia passengers will depart Pacific Encounter on 15 March. That same day, the ship will leave Brisbane for refit, marking the last ever P&O departure, the final Brisbane departure, and an end of P&O Cruises in Australia, a lineage that dates back 93 years. Pacific Adventure and Pacific Encounter will return to Australian service as Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter, just a few weeks after the closure of P&O, so you can still cruise on those 2 great ships. And P&O Cruises will still exist, as Carnival Corporation owns P&O Cruises UK, which has a fleet of ships based out of the UK. One of those ships is the Arcadia, which will be visiting Australia on her world cruise. Ironically, this will take place in March 2025, so as P&O Cruises Australia closes down, we will see a UK-based P&O branded ship make a rare but welcome visit to Australian ports as part of her annual circumnavigation. So in a nutshell, you can still cruise with P&O, just not regularly out of Australia. You'll have to go to the UK to do it, or pick up a segment on a world cruise voyage. So what do you think of the closure of P&O Cruises Australia? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I hope to see you on board.